Yes, and we are back. 7:43. That means we got about another 17 minutes to go before Dr. Williams shows up with the 2x4 and personally kicks me out. So let's get to it. We celebrated a lot of great happy happies in the last segment. You know, celebrate a lot of people in music and sports and Hollywood, whatnot, who are celebrating birthdays. But one person who I didn't mention, okay, is a man who is from right here in Northwest Indiana. A lot of you may know him. Probably even a few of you knew him personally. I know my mother actually knew him, actually went to school with this man. But September 17th, 1953 is the 70th birthday of Ulysses Jr. Bridgeman. How many of you know who that is? I'm sure a lot. This man was born in East Chicago and was a member of the 1971 Washington High School Senators basketball team that went undefeated and won the Indiana State High School basketball championship. Amongst his teammates were his brother Sam Bridgeman, Pete Turgovich, who actually played for John Wooden at UCLA, and the great Tim Stoddard, who, along with Kenny Lofton, some years later, would be the only two players in sports history to play in the Final Four of the NCAA tournament and in the World Series in baseball. That's crazy. Ulysses Jr. Bridgeman actually attended the University of Louisville, playing under the legendary Denny Crum, and was the Missouri Valley Player of the Year in 1974 and 1975. He led the Louisville Cardinals to the 1974 Division I basketball tournament as a junior. And as a senior, he led the Cardinals to the Final Four of the 1975 NCAA Division I tournament, where they lost to UCLA because everybody was losing to UCLA at that point. UCLA was pretty unbeatable throughout the decades of the 60s and the 70s. After that, Bridgeman was drafted by the Lakers in the 1975 draft in the first round. And a few weeks after the draft, he was involved in the trade that brought Kareem Abdul-Jabbar to the Lakers. So he was traded from the Lakers to the Milwaukee Bucks, along with David Myers, Elmore Smith, Brian Winters, to the Milwaukee Bucks for Kareem Abdul-Jabbar and Walt Wesley. Junior Bridgeman was a sixth man for most of his career in the NBA, averaging double figures and scoring for 9 consecutive seasons. There was no NBA Sixth Man of the Year back in those days, but if it had existed, a lot of people believe he would have won it multiple times. And he also served as the president of the National Basketball Players Association from 1985 to 1988. Now, that in itself would be more than enough for 99% of the world's population to say that they've had a successful career and a successful life. You played on one of the greatest high school basketball teams of all time. You went to college and played for one of the most legendary coaches at Louisville, played in the Final Four at Louisville, was drafted by the LA Lakers, and played at a high level in the NBA for over a decade. That would be enough for most people to consider themselves as having had a successful career. But that was not enough for Ulysses Jr. Bridgeman. No. During the off seasons of his career, he worked and learned the business model of the Wendy's fast food restaurant franchise. This is a man who during the offseason would work at Wendy's. After retiring from the NBA, he invested in that franchise and eventually owned over 100 various Wendy's and Chili's restaurants all over America before he sold his franchises in 2016. As the president and CEO of Bridgeman Foods in 2017, he became a bottler for Coca-Cola. And in 2018, he signed a letter of intent to buy bottling operations in Canada. In December of 2020, Bridgeman, via his Bridgeman Sports and Media Company, he bought Ebony and Jet magazine. I had no idea Junior Bridgeman owned Ebony Jet magazine for $14 million after the magazines had declared bankruptcy earlier in the year. On May 26th of last year, Mana Capital Partners, an investment firm co-founded by Bridgeman, once again, announced that the firm they had partnered with the Ball Corporation to construct and operate an integrated secondary aluminum mill in Los Lunas, New Mexico. And in October of 2022, Alabama Governor Kay Ivey, who's a hardcore right-wing Republican, announced that Mana Capital Partners would invest in a bottling facility to be located in Hope Hull, Alabama, and operated by the affiliate of Mana Beverages and Ventures, co-founded by East Chicago's own Ulysses Jr. Bridgeman. Now, in spite of never making more than $350,000 in a single season in the NBA, Junior Bridgeman has a net worth right now of over $600 million. Yes, that is money, money, right. $600 million, which makes him one of the richest athletes in the history of the world. He started out right here in Northwest Indiana. So when you tell young people about this region, about East Chicago, about Gary, about Hammond, Maryville, tell them about the story of Ulysses Bridgeman. A man who started at the same place all these young people start off at, these same towns, these same cities, who worked hard, who planned ahead, and ended up worth $600 million. Wow. So happy to him on his 70th birthday. Much respect to him. Let me get this caller. Hello, caller.
Hey, Scott, how's it going again?
It's all good.
I just wanted to compliment you on your music, man. When you played De La Soul, Break of Dawn, you know, when that record came out in 93,
yes.
I had a union car and a non-union car. I had a Ford, and then I had a Toyota Corolla, and then I had a brand new Tempo. And so when you played that, man, that brought back a lot of memories. I was guilty of both of them. I said, wow, he know how to hit below the belt.
Woo.
But then listen here, man, I know you was a little shorty then.
Yes.
But listen, I know that you know about that AI, and you up on that game. But, you know, let me tell you, AI is like the atomic bomb when it came out. AI will destroy man if it goes forward and race to AI, because AI came from a very dark place. So when we think about AI, they better think long and hard, because that would that would wipe out mankind. Mankind will become extinct. But listen, let me ask you this, man. You don't know nothing about this, but your people do. Now, back in the 70s, you know, at the end of the 60s, you know, immigration was wide open. You could go buy papers, man, and you could come over here and you can work. Now, if you lay low and you put the money in the right people's hands, you know, you was legal. But really, it was illegal. You know, a lot of things that went on in this country, and a lot of people scream and holler. But if they look back for where they came from, they'll see that they came over here too on a down low. So, hey, thanks, man. You stay
It's all good. You too, brother.
Thank you.
Well, all right. Heard that. Thank you all who called and who listened and who watched on WLTHradio.com and on Facebook and on Twitch. You know, I love coming here every Friday night and spending time with you guys. Can't wait to do it again next week. I'm already ready for next week's show. So, again, we have to support organized labor. We have to support UAW. We have to tighten up the borders. And much respect to Ulysses, Bridgeman. So if you didn't learn anything else from this show, I hope you learn to respect Mr. Bridgeman, who has accomplished a heck of a lot with his life, coming from right here in this region.